better. There's a couple of things here that we can look at, especially in the Raptor. The camera is feeling pretty good, and the dragon, we can keep pushing and moving forward, so that's feeling good. There's just some mechanical feeling about the Raptor in some spots, where it kind of feels like a kind of vehicle or spaceship when I say mechanical. So we can, for a couple of turns here, we want to make sure that the leg always pushes the body. The leg is the force that pushes the body to the left or right. So like I was saying earlier, to just picture like your hips. See something smaller, your hips, and if you were standing on one leg, so if you're one leg and you had one leg up, so the only way to get over here is for this leg. It needs to bend down, so it needs to bend down, and it needs to push out to get onto that other foot, and it needs that extension from this down. Then the extension is essentially the push up. Now we can do it this way, kind of like that. Maybe that foot can be coming down. And then the land. It has to be from this again. The hips can't just decide to move across on its own. For it to be natural, we need the foot. So we need these shapes to push it across. And right now, you get things like, for example, on this turn, that turn feels like pretty much it feels like it's on a motion path. Or if you're in a car or a space vehicle, a spaceship, if you look at it from the top, they can just go left, then right, because there's a steering wheel, there's an engine, so there's a force within it that's pushing it. Whereas anything natural, we need our legs or our arms. So if we wanted to go screen right, we would definitely need that push, So you have to figure out the stride length and the feet coordination for your dyno to go screen right from this foot being placed down. And there's a couple of references I want us to look at. We'll just look at a couple of these first. Let's do this one. And before we even break down the mechanics, you can just look at it and you can see the change of direction and the weight that it creates from the leg. And I'm using ostrich references because obviously the anatomy is very similar, but it's very similar because dinosaurs have evolved into modern day birds. So actually, just to show you, So that's, I'm not sure how old this one was, this version of the anatomy. I'm guessing it went through, they're probably like flippers, so then it went through, this looks more like a, you know, Velociraptor. These are the kind of smaller dinosaurs, but it's evolved right into, this is more, I'm guessing, like a turkey or a chicken. So really, the anatomy, the joints have not changed in a few million years, and you really, so you could use, you know, ostriches for raptor runs, dinosaur runs, poses. Obviously the weight, the scale is going to be different, but you know, you can take shapes from there, like this one for example. You know, you know, it looks like these poses. Looks like the raptor here with fur. It's exactly the same. So it's just the arms have been pushed back a lot more over the years. So the arms here have been pushed up into wings, right? Which kind of look like more like that now. But anyway, I think you knew that. So, but it's just good to look at. Then we'll see here. Probably a lot more. Some nice way. There's some nice spring. Essentially, it's the power in the hind legs, and that's what we want to create in the poses. So you can see here, for example, if we track it, you know, like this is all center of his center of gravity, and then because he knows he wants to turn right with the flow of everything, so the lean is right, but the leg now goes outward to push the body right, whereas before, you know, everything is just center because ostrich is running forward, so he wants to remain balanced on this giant body. So everything remains center. Until, bam, wants to turn right, and the foot lands right because the body wants to lean. You know, and if you had a raptor head, you can lead with the head, but you know, we won't even look at that yet. We'll just look at the hips and the leg placement, and then you get that recognizable shapes, and that's what you're after. Again, if you had a raptor, something like that, but it's all about the mechanics and the hips and what the legs are doing. You can see here there's a nice flat shape, and this from the push on the ground, so the flat on the ground, and then you're really just pushing up with the heel. The whole leg is straight. Here's your extension. That's the one that's pushing them forward, pushing them sideways. And then you have your flick of the toe. The toes are really powerful. Even goes for humans. All of our power, our torque, our acceleration comes from, you know, our toes. So that's the last push that we give even see it in this reference. Again, recognizable shapes, and this applies to raptors as well. Okay, your weight here. So you can just imagine your raptor kind of leaning in, then they heel up, and then that straight leg to really extend and push the body forward, and a toe flick up. You can see the drawings. There you can slam down, holding the heavy body, and then flicking up. And as the foot flattens, foot flattens, body pushes down, bends I guess that's the knee backwards, down, and then this straight leg, that extension, is what pushes the body then up, translate back up. So your oscillation, if you were just to get the the up and down, the timing is pretty much up when the leg is back and extended, down when the foot is planted and the foot is flat. Clear arrow. See the turn here, just slight adjust, and then the head pushing down to run quicker. It's almost like stabbing the ground as he runs. And this one's a beautiful example. So much agility for such a big body and skinny legs, but you can see here, center of balance, right in the middle. I'm trying to draw a straight line, but it's right here. That's the pivot. And for balance, they got a lot of balance because the ostrich is wanting to lean right to turn because it's following a fox. So to balance, this right foot has to really lean in. So the mixing the footsteps of instead of just doing the same cycle and getting in the same spot, the body always has to adjust. The feet have to always adjust to center of gravity. You can see right here, if he doesn't put this foot down, it's going to topple over. So just to drop that. And then now that the fox is running right, the ostrich has to now, again, adjust, get this lean. Oh, now it's going to try and turn. So you can see here, there's a lot of like leaning and adjusting in the body, and the feet have to always just try and balance, but they've got such good balance. Now it's leaning over again. So there's all these, you know, compensations in the lean and where the leg placements are. And then now this is a beautiful leg out plant. Ooh, to push right here. It's perfect. Perfect for that push right. And this is what we need your raptor doing. Getting a foot out like this and a lean, and that extension there is going to push your raptor right, and that's where the weight comes from and the correct mechanics. And then this foot can now confidently plant right there, and you can really lean right because your nose is running right. You see a beautiful pose here. Just a couple more for you. And here made a side by side just so we can have a look. So as a ostrich here plants, wants to lean screen right to turn, got that extension. So again, you're gonna need that extension there. So you might even use this one here, for example, as the one to begin. So by bringing that foot out, and then from there you're already leaning over. And instead of just turning again like a car, where you're just rotating, it's more of a lean. So it's more of a 3/4. So maybe you're still more, you know, you're kind of leaning and rotating and easing into this. While I'm here, I think you can just bring your arms back a little. Again, almost more like a chicken, kind of like that. It's less human as well. You want to get nice tail shapes eventually from that line of action that you're creating. Then you can see here, put in a foot reference. They've got very dinosaur looking feet as well. can see the weight down on the ground pushing off the toe, you know, creates this hard angle in the toe as the heel rose up. And then you can just feel that toe pushing down in the dirt to push all that weight up. And then because of that, it has to flick backwards. All that force is for grabbing the ground and pushing himself forward. And then you can just feel that weight on the ankle, just kind of pushing it over. It doesn't just stay, doesn't just lock here. Once it's on the ground, all that weight just pushes it down. That's where you feel all the weight, because the legs, all this is bone, so it's not going to absorb it. Your ankle has to absorb everything. Ankles and knees, just like humans. And again, for that last move, you want to add in a bit of that, you know, this adjustment. So it's the same thing. Your raptor is trying to dodge and weave, move left and right while keeping its balance. So as you run across, your foot kind of come out there a little, and then when it's over this side, just like, you know, what your ostrich reference does, like this one. So from there, this foot has to even cut across here, just to adjust from that move over, you know, from this one. Where's that pose? From there to there. And then if you're wanting to move left, screen left, so when this right foot comes down, well, has to come down first, a bit right, and then so it comes down that way, screen right, and then it has to push out. And from there, even this foot can just be a little bit more underneath as it's pushing out. Again, you've got the turn out while on his left leg, which is the screen right leg, which is incorrect. So if he starts to get to this turn, he would need that foot out. Yeah, for that push out. And then if he's turning the other way, that foot needs to be extended out for that push. this beautiful stretch. So just again, just looking at those legs and the body there, pushing in the ground and then pushing off. And it has to really feel like there's massive weight pushing those joints down. And then pushing it back up. So the pivot point is here. Make sure it feels like it's not sliding. So your pivot point is going to be, off the toe, off the big toe, just like the reference we saw. Your toe has to kick from that spot. So if there's still room for it to be on the ground, keep it on the ground. And then from there, remember it's pushing it up and then flicking the toe back. Flicking the toe back.